Welcome back, Wolf Den Hobbies. Today, we're going to be diving into the next installment into our hobby tips series. And in this series, in this video, we're actually going to be going over the very basics. We're going to take it as basic as possible. And we're going to go over the tools and the glue and the stuff that you need to be able to build any model. And in this video, I'm just going to go over the stuff that I use. I mean, there's millions of things out there that anybody could use. So if there's anything else that you guys use that you find is either A, better than the stuff I use, or B, is just a great recommendation, please let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. So we'll be going over that. And once we're done, we're actually going to be building a model from the Octarius box set. Okay. This is him. All right. So, if you're ready, let's dive in and let's take a look at these tools. Okay, so here are a few things that I think are key and essential for hobby building. So, one of them is a mat. Now, I like this mat. It's a self-curing mat. Very sturdy. It's good for cutting things on. This way you're not cutting your desk. Now, granted, sometimes I forget to protect my desk and then you get paint on it. It happens. But if you want to protect it, a mat like this is really good. They're not that expensive. You can get them pretty much from any art store. So moving on. Having a good pair of side cutters is always key. You should always have a good pair of side cutters. They're all sorts of different brands and styles. I have two. This one here is from, I think, Michael's. And then this one here I got from my local gaming store. These are much better quality than the ones from Michael's, but they both do this job. Now with these ones I got from Michael's, I cut something I shouldn't have. And you can see there's a gap between there now. So it doesn't make like quite a flush cut as it should, but it's okay. It works for certain things. So I keep them around. After you cut it off the sprue, one of the things you should do next is clean any flash or stubbles that are left over on it. So there's Games Workshop has a tool for that, which I have somewhere, but I don't know where it went. But I use a really sharp Exacto Knife. Now they're great for scraping edges and cleaning things up a little bit. I'll show on this cork here. So what I do is I'll take it and then just gently scrape along the edge. And that usually cleans up any flash or leftover sprue on there. Now if it's a big hunk of sprue, we'll take this guy here. Just for demonstration purposes. I painted this almost 20 years ago. I'd say, maybe, I don't know. It's probably not been that long. But I painted this guy a while ago. So what you would do is you take it and you try to scrape off that piece without, completely gouging the model, which it happens. And, if you gouge the model out, you can always use plastic putty. Now this is just plastic putty from Vallejo, but I mean Games Workshop has their own plastic putty. Here you go. So this is Games Workshop's brand, liquid green stuff. So you can use that. Anything to really fill in those, the holes or whatever. This also comes in handy when you're putting together a model, and that model happens to have gaps in it that aren't supposed to be there. You can use that to fill the gaps. This way it's not as noticeable. Once you put it on and you have it to where you want it, you can sand it down, which is really nice. So now that you cut it, you cleaned it, you gotta glue it. Well, no, let's back up. Let's back up for a second. You could also use files for sanding as well. They're great. These little file set I got off Amazon, and they work wonders. I think I've only used this one so far. Used the crap out of it. But, So you got the model all cleaned up, right? Now it's time to glue it. Now there's different types of glue that you can use too. I have a few examples. I have this glue, which is your Gorilla Super Glue brush and nozzle. So this has a brush and a drop on it. So you can use either one. You can brush it on, you could just put a dab on there. So you have that. Then you have something like this, Mr. Cement Deluxe from Mr. Hobby, which has, this one has a big brush on it, which I'm not a huge fan of using this one. That's why this one's still kind of full. I use this one. Extra thin cement. This one's great. Look at that tiny little applicator brush. That's fantastic. I love using it. So you have those. That's for gluing your plastics together. And then I also have this, which is liquid cement from Testers. So there's all sorts of different brands of adhesives to it. Now, when you get into, okay, now this is a spoiler alert, okay? This is something I've been working on. Something like this, all right? Where you have a canopy. These canopies are usually clear. See? Clear. So when you glue it on, they tend to fog up. So that's where Testers, and there's some other brands out there, but they have clear part cement for windows. And when you use this cement, you can glue it and adhere it to your model without having your pieces fog up, which is really nice. All right. Also, a big thing is drilling out the barrel of your guns. You don't have to do it, but there's a lot of people out there, other war gamers, that really like to see their barrels drilled. Like to see their barrels drilled out. And that's okay. To each their own. Models look cool with their barrels drilled out? Yeah. But, for example, here is a Tau Fire Warrior. Okay? I don't have his barrels drilled out. It might not be applicable for this. It might be better for a Space Marine. And you can do that. That's great. But that's why a decent hand drill and a whole thing of assorted drill bits comes in handy. But not only can you use that for drilling out the barrels of a gun, you can also use those for drilling into the feet. For example, let me grab this guy over here. So this Poxwalker, I drilled into his foot and I put a paper clip in there. This way I can paint him, hang him to dry, or really whatever. So you can do that as well. So it's always good to have assorted drill bits. You never know what you might need it for. Also, get this stuff out of the way. Scoot over here. I found something that has come in, well, quite handy, honestly, is this museum wax. Now you don't need a lot of it, but this museum wax has a really strong hold. Really, really strong hold. And it comes with a little scraper applicator thing. You just scrape it, get a little bit on there, and it holds. For example, let's see if this will work. Now I'm just trying this. I don't know if it'll work or not. We're gonna try it. Let's see if it does. For example, let's see. Yeah, for the most part, it holds pieces on there. I had too small of a piece, but like, if you wanted to take, let's say these two dice, put that on there, and look, nothing. That's museum wax. So, if you want to sub-assemble a model, this is great because you can put it on the bits that you don't want assembled to hold it in for your like zenithal highlighting and what have you. So this is really good stuff. And I mean, it's a huge tub. I got this on Amazon as well. It's 13 ounces and it's not expensive at all, which is fantastic. But so this is some of the stuff I use. So I guess let's find a model kit and I will go through the process of cutting a model off a sprue and building it. So I'll see you back here in a bit. All right, so we're going to start off with building one of the models from the new Kilting box set, Octarius. And I figured we'll go with this guy right here, your Trooper Veteran. So that is what we're going to be building. So, according to this, the first thing you need is going to be A26, A28, and A27. Grab your clippers, and let's see. All right, here's A26, A27, and A28. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully clip these out. So there's one piece. Two pieces. And finally, 26. Okay. So we're going to set the sprue aside for right now. We will put it. Okay. So now we have our three pieces. These are our three pieces right here. Okay. So now that we stripped it off the sprue, we have to clean it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my knife and my file ready. So if you can see there's a little bit of sprue left. And then, whoops, there, and here. So we're going to clean that up. Now watch, I'm going to try to demonstrate this, and I'm going to gouge the crap out of this cape. What I take it flush, just knock it right off. Take it flush, knock it right off. Up here, same thing. Flush, and then flush. Okay, so now you can see it's a little bit more flush. Now, you can either use the file or you can use the knife. You take the knife and you drag it across. Like that. Or take the file and file it down. Nice and smooth. Alright. So let's get the rest of this cleaned up. Somebody really should oil this chair. This is a noisy chair. I don't know why it's so noisy. But you're going to hear some squeakings and some creakings from this chair. It's an old chair. I've had this chair in my hobby presence for quite some time. Alright, we're going to take it here. Okay. So now, nice and sanded. Nice and sanded. Perfect. So same for these two pieces. So you have a piece right here and one's foot. For this method, I'll just use the knife instead of the file. Okay. Foot's nice and clean. Nice and clean. Now the last piece. This is one. This chair, man, I need to get a new chair. But honestly, I don't know what kind of chairs are good to get. Ooh, be careful when you get pieces with divots like that, where it kind of dips in, because you can accidentally gouge out too much. Let's get that nice and clean. Okay. But yeah, there's like so many different types of chairs out there. I just don't know what kind to get. What would be good, comfortable for sitting here painting and building models or gaming. You know? I'm not good with a whole bunch of options. Kind of starts throwing me off. Too many decisions to be made. Alright. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can see it. There's a mold line in there. Right there. Let's clean that up. Just take my knife and just drag it along that mold line ever so slightly. Just like that. And now, so I get the focus on there. It's kind of a hard thing. No mold line. Which I don't know if you guys can see it, but I assure you it's not there. So, there's one over here. Go ahead and get that cleaned off. There's one up here. Get that cleaned off. The process of cleaning mold lines is extremely tedious. It's not the most enjoyable thing to do unless you like watching things disappear, like the mold lines when you scrape them. Then I guess it can get pretty enjoyable. Alright. That looks pretty gosh darn good. Alright, so now we have our bits for step 1A ready. Okay? So now we gotta glue them together. Now, you can either use your extra thin cement or you can use your super glue. Now, since it's plastic, I'm going to use the extra thin cement. This way, I can kind of get it in there easier without making a mess because it has a tinier brush. One of the things I like to do is always dry fit everything, kind of see how it goes first before I go ahead and just glue it together. Just because I don't know how many times I have glued things together and it was just, I didn't dry fit it and it was a nightmare. Alright, so that's how it's going to go. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to take them. Okay, we're going to get our glue. Some glue. We're going to put that there. And we're going to take this piece. And we're going to glue it on. Just like that. Now while this glue is setting, one of the things I also like to do is take this and go like that. And basically by doing this, I'm scraping the plastic down, yes, but I'm using that plastic that I scraped down to fill in that gap there, which you can't really tell anymore because I filled it with plastic. Alright, so let's glue on this other foot. So we're going to take it, we're going to stick it all in here, like that. We're going to take the leg, we're going to pop it in place. Alright, so now we have our torso built. Nice. We're going to set that off to the side. We're going to set the glue off to the side. We're going to set the knife off to the side. And we're going to go to the next step. The next step is gluing it to the base, which I would say is optional. I don't typically always glue my guys to the base because I like to do different designs with my bases. So until I figure out how I want to do the basing, I usually don't glue them to it. So now we're going to look for A25 and A88. So we grab our sprue and we go on the hunt. Where's 88? Now this could take a little bit. Okay, so here's 88. Right here. We're going to take our snips. Take it. We're going to take it. Well, actually, this one, with where it's located, we'll just bend that off. Okay. Now we need 25. We kind of turn this into like a, like one of those kids shows where they ask you a question, the audience a question, and then you help them find whatever they're looking for. So if you see 25, please point it out. Right, here, thanks. Sometimes trying to find things on a sprue can be rather difficult. There's just so many things just sitting there, and it's like, where is it? Well, I digress. So, we got our helmet, and we got our fancy backpack. So let's clean them up. All right. Take it. We're gonna. Okay. Nice and clean. Take it. All right. So that's nice and clean. Let's go over to this helmet. Okay, so they're clean. Now go back and get some of this mold lines off. So here you have a mold line. We're going to just gently scrape that away. So that's gone. Then here. Okay. Up here. Top. Okay. Then down here. And then right here. Oh, wait. Always look on the bottom. Always look on the bottom. I forget the bottom sometimes. Even though I did the side of it, sometimes I forget the bottom. Alright, so that's done. His head. He has a mold line going over his helmet. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult because it's on his helmet. I'm going to take it. And just gently scrape it away. Like that. Take it. And scrape it away. Okay. So let's bring our guy back out. Okay. Now we're going to glue on the backpack. So we're going to take the backpack. We're going to put glue all around it like that. We're going to insert it into here. Push it in nice and tight. Boom. Now he has a backpack. Fantastic. Let's glue his head on. I'm going to take it. We're going to start here and go. Nice. And then place his head on like so. Alright, so this is where we're at so far. We got his head on, we got his backpack, and his legs. Cool. Okay. So what's the next step? So, this is a 3-part model. You can either build him this way, or this way. And I said we're going this route because I like the whole shoulder slung gun and grenade in hand. So if we go down here, these are the parts we need. A57, A59, and A60. Right here. Alright. So let's see what we got. Okay, so here's 59, and here's 60. So we're going to take 60. We're going to carefully cut it out so the piece doesn't go flying across the room. Put it there. Now there's plenty of times where I've cut something out and it has quite actually shot across the room, and I've luckily found it. There's been times where it would shoot across the room and that was it. It was gone. Alright, so the other one that we're looking for is 57, which is right here. Okay. Alright. So now we got our 3 pieces. We have his gun, his arm, and the hand holding the grenade. So here's his gun. And there's those 2 pieces. Super tiny, right? So let's clean them up. We'll take our knife, we'll take his hand, we'll hold it, and we'll gently scrape away that little piece. We'll probably get that with the file because it's so tiny. So let's take this piece. And I just dropped it. Luckily, it dropped close by. We would have been in trouble if it would have dropped off the table. Alright. So we're going to take it carefully. Carefully. Alright, we're just going to scrape it into the arm. Nice. Make sure there's no other connection spots, which I thought there was. Oh, and I dropped it again. Nice. Clumsy. Way to go. Okay. So let's clean this while we have it here and we see it. Get that flash off there. Nice. Yeah. Blow away some of that dust. Plastic shavings. There you go. Alright. And that leaves the gun. Okay. So let's take it. Okay, got that nice and clean. All right, let's go up here. Okay, sorry about that. My batteries died. Awesome. All right, so back where we were. So I ended up gouging a little bit out of the gun, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna take it, and then we'll just clean it off. So it's almost like you don't even know it was there. The only thing is it doesn't have the little sight back there now, but there's other things that you can add to it, like maybe like a small scope or something. There's a lot of things you can add to models to make them slightly different and more unique. Okay, let's clean the stock up. Get that nice and clean. And then we have a little bit of left over here. Okay. Nice. Now, what I said about drilling the barrels earlier with this, okay? So, this is, let's pull this back a little bit. This is like a last gun. I probably want to drill this barrel out. Just saying. Alright. Hands clean. Come on, focus. What are you doing? Hands clean. Arms clean. Chair's squeaky. And this arm's clean. So now, what do we have left to do? Glue it. Alright, so we're going to take our glue. We're going to put our glue right there. Nice little dollop. And then we're going to take his arm. I'll put it right. We gotta make sure it lines up right. I'm gonna put it right like, okay. Having a little bit of issue here, lining this up. Right like that. So now you can see his arm is on. Now all that leaves is the hand with the grenade and the arm. So we're going to dry fit it because he's throwing the grenade. So you kind of want it back like that. Alright. This time we're going to put it on the arm instead. Boom. Get that glue in there. Like the Emerald Lagasse? Whatever. You know. Emerald, the chef. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're cooking up some miniatures. Alright, we're going to line that up. Like, oh, and it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. Okay, push that back on. You should let things dry. But I'm trying to get this video to not be 14 hours long. So, anyway. Alright, so now we have that arm on, that arm on. All that's left is the hand. So we're going to take it. We're going to put a little dollop here. We're going to take his hand. Make sure that you look at his hand to see which way his fingers are going. That is very crucial because you don't want to glue his hand on upside down. I have a really good buddy of mine, and I apologize ahead of time, who was building models and he built his guys with his jump packs, and when the glue settled, the body shifted a little bit, so they were sitting backwards. So all his guys looked like if they were going to jump with their jump packs, they'd all be jumping backwards. It was pretty funny. So, I'm sorry, Chris. Anyway. So here you go. There you have it. Now watch. Watch this. So let's grab a base. We'll just grab any old base because it doesn't really matter. He's not staying to it. Okay. So we have a base, right? Put him on the base. Nice. He's on a base. Now, take a little bit of museum putty or museum wax, right? We don't need that much. That's an awful lot. Okay. We'll put some on his foot, right? Put a little bit on his foot. See? A little bit on his foot. That's a little too much on his foot. A little bit too much on his foot over there. Let's wipe some of that. There you go. Okay. See? Now watch. And now look. He's not going anywhere. He's on there pretty good. So now, he's technically based. you know, technically based, but he can be pulled off at any time. So if you want to store them, put them up, you know, sit somewhere like, oh, I'm going to put it here. And when I get to it, I can paint it. You can have it attached to the base with the museum putty. And then when you're ready, all you have to do is, whoop, comes right off. Put them back on. See? You can pull them right off. So that's really it. That's all that's to building a model. The basics anyway. There's some other things you could do. You could use magnets, so you can customize your, for example. So for this, I did not magnetize this, but for this, he has his ghost swords. It also has a ghost axe as well and shield. So if I wanted to, instead of buying 2 of these whole kits, I could have put magnets in his hands or in his arms to be able to change out the weapon options. And you can always do that. Yes, it's time consuming. Yes, it's tedious. But it allows you to save money and have more customization with your models. Me personally, these guys I think are better with swords. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't played with them yet in any super competitive way. So if the axes are better, let me know. But anyway, I digress. So that's some other things you can do. So I hope you enjoyed sitting here building this Octarius model with me from the new Kill Team box set. And I guess I'll see you back at the hobby desk. Alrighty, welcome back. So I hope that we learned a little bit about the tools that we use to build our models and some of the ways we can use them. Now there's plenty of tools out there, and there's plenty of different ways to build models. From, you know, building them all the way through and basing them like we did with this guy. Also, you can build them in sub-assemblies. So, like my Mortarion here. I built him without his wings on. You have his wings, he's off of his base. So, there's just so many different ways to build models. There's so many different ways to customize your models that, you know, you got to dive in and just kind of try it. So that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, I'll see you at the hobby desk.